Lex Julia is an ancient Roman law that was introduced by any member of the Julian family. Most often, Julian laws, Lex Iulia or Leges Iuliae, refer to moral legislation introduced by Augustus in 23 BC, or to a law from the dictatorship of Julius Caesar. Lex Iulia de civitate Latina standa. Apart from Augustus's laws on marriage, the 90 BC Lex Julia is probably the best known of the laws under this name. It was introduced by the consul Lucius Julius Caesar, and offered Roman citizenship to all citizens of Italian Municipia who had not raised arms against Rome in the Italian War. Lex Iulia de repetundus. This law restricted the number of gifts that a governor could receive during his term in a province, and also ensured that governors balanced their accounts before leaving a province. Lex Iulia Municipalis sets regulations for the Italian municipalities. See Tables of Heraclea. Moral legislation of Augustus. Under Augustus, the Leges Iuliae of 1817 BC attempted to elevate both the morals and the numbers of the upper classes in Rome to increase the population by encouraging marriage and having children. They also established adultery as a private and public crime. To encourage population expansion, the Leges Juliae offered inducements to marriage and imposed disabilities upon the celibate. Augustus instituted the law of the 3 sons, which held those in high regard who produced 3 male offspring. Marrying aged celibates and young widows who wouldn't marry were prohibited from receiving inheritances and from attending public games. Augustan Leges Iuliae Lex Iulia de ambitu, penalizing bribery when acquiring political offices. Lex Iulia de maritandus ordinibus, limiting marriage across social class boundaries. Lex Iulia de adulteris coercendis. This law punished adultery with banishment. The 2 guilty parties were sent to different islands, and part of the property was confiscated. Fathers were permitted to kill daughters and the partners in adultery. Husbands could kill the partners under certain circumstances and were required to divorce adulterous wives. Augustus himself was obliged to invoke the law against his own daughter, Julia, and against her eldest daughter. Tacitus adds the reproach that Augustus was stricter for his own relatives than the law actually required. Lex Iulia de vicissima hereditatem instituted a 5% tax on testamentary inheritances, exempting close relatives. Lex Papia Popia is usually seen as an integral part of Augustus's Julian laws. The Lex Papia Popia also explicitly promoted offspring, thus also discriminating against celibacy. Later updates to the Julian laws. The extracts below are from later legal codes and textbooks, but are also valuable in the sense that they are based on, and frequently quote from, the actual text of Augustus's laws. Ulpian is written down by Ulpian the Lex Julia relating to marriage. By the terms of the Lex Julia, senators and the descendants are forbidden to marry freed women, or women who have themselves followed the profession of the stage, or whose father or mother has done so. Other free-born persons are forbidden to marry a common prostitute, or a procuress, or a woman manumitted by a procuress, or a woman caught in adultery, or one condemned in a public lawsuit, or one who has followed the profession of the stage. Justinian. Under the rule of Emperor Justinian, the Lex Julia on adultery public prosecutions are as follows. The Lex Julia for the suppression of adultery punishes with death not only those who dishonor the marriage bed of another but also those who indulge in unspeakable lust with males. The same Lex Juliae also punishes the offensive seduction, when a person, without the use of force, deflowers a virgin or seduces a respectable widow. The penalty imposed by the statute on such offenders is the confiscation of half their estate right if they are of respectable standing, corporal punishment and banishment in the case of people of the lower orders. But as regards the provisions of the Lex Julia, a man who confesses that he has committed the offense has no right to ask for a remission of the penalty on the ground that he was underage, nor, as I have said, will any remission be allowed if he commits any of those offenses which the statute punishes in the same way as adultery, as, for example, if he marries a woman who is detected in adultery and he declines to divorce her, or where he makes a profit from her adultery, or accepts a bribe to conceal illicit intercourse which he detects, or lends his house for the commission of adultery or illicit intercourse within it. Youth, as I said, is no excuse in the face of clear enactments, when a man who, though he appeals to the law, himself transgresses it.